Burna Boy Day Boston 2024. That was Saturday, March 2nd. The city of Boston did declare March 2nd as Burna Boy Day, which to me is crazy, but looking deeper into it, it does make sense. What's up? You are now listening to Americanized, a storytelling podcast where you will hear from eclectic first and second generation Americans share their stories and real life experiences as children of immigrants. I remember telling my coworker my plans for the weekend as the small talk occurs on the Friday afternoon, and I told her that I'm going to see Burna Boy, and she asked me, where is he performing? And I thought House of Blues. I really didn't know because I did not purchase these tickets, so I wasn't on top of it. But I had to just look it up just to confirm, and he was playing at the TD Garden, and then that's when I saw articles on the city of Boston declaring March 2nd as Burna Boy Day. And that was official during the show. Let's rewind though. So I would say a few months ago, maybe back in November, Parker's cousin Brian told us that he had extra tickets to see Burna Boy and that we should definitely go with them, catch up before the concert, eat dinner, and go. And I was like, okay, we should totally do it. The concert is in March. At this time, it's November, so we have time. So we all went together. It was me, Parker, his cousin Brian, and Brian's wife Paula. So shout out to Brian and Paula for getting us those tickets. Otherwise, I would have never gone to a Burna Boy concert. Not that I don't like Burna Boy. I love Afrobeats. I've always been a fan. But I'm someone where, I will know the songs, I will know the beats, and some of the words, but I won't always know the name of the song or the artist. So I do know a few of his songs, and I feel like if I did not go to the concert, I probably wouldn't have known more of his songs otherwise. Not that I don't like him or his music, it's just I'm unfamiliar with the specifics of Afrobeat songs and artists, but I do love to get down to Afrobeats. I grew up listening to Ivorian music that's not necessarily considered Afrobeats, because Ivorian music has its own genres, such as Coupe de Calais and Zouglou, and those are really fast-paced, upbeat, heavy with the drums, and it sounds really chaotic, but it's really beautiful, and it's way different than Afrobeats. I would say it doesn't have that hip-hop element to it, so it's very different. I wouldn't say that I grew up listening to Afrobeats, but once Afrobeats did become popularized, my family was all over it, and through them, I also was a fan of Afrobeats, and just listening to it and getting familiar with the songs. I guess I'm not a huge fan if I don't know all the songs and artists, but I know of the song, but I don't know the actual song. But in terms of Burna Boy, I did know the ones that everybody knows, and On the Low, City Boys I really like, and On Top of the World is popular too. But, those are not the OG songs, so I'm not a huge fan. I can't call myself a huge fan, but I was very thankful to go to the show and have that experience and be there and witness a lot of things. It was definitely an unforgettable night. It sounds cliche, but it really was. Just because the arena, TD Garden being that big, I've never been to a concert of that scale before. Parker and I love going to concerts, but I don't know, I always say I love a smaller, intimate concert where you can actually be close to the artists and just be with the smaller fan base. And I told myself I would never go to like a huge concert, but we didn't buy the tickets. We were invited to go, so it worked out that way. But it just seems so not as personal to go to a big concert like that. But I totally get the hype and the excitement and it feeling like one huge party of people coming together for one thing, and I enjoyed that a lot. Getting into the concert was interesting because I believe doors were at 7 or 7:30 and the show started at 8. I would say we got to TD Garden around 8, if not a little before 8 o'clock. And so when we finally got there, or maybe it was a little before 8, I was like, this arena is pretty much empty, like half empty. I was like nervous for him because I was like, this isn't gonna look like this isn't good. I'm like, if he booked at this arena, this venue, surely it would be, I mean, he sold out. I was getting nervous seeing the empty seats. I'm sure, an arena that big definitely would take time for people to go through security and get their tickets checked and everything. But he didn't go on until like 10 o'clock. So that's like 2 hours. And I was joking with Paula, like, he's on African time. 2 hours late to a show that starts at 8 is African time. But I think it was all intentional. It was a big venue. There was lots of people. So that took time for sure. And it was worth the wait. If there's anything, he was worth the wait. But I was like, oh dang, there's like nobody here. It was really strange. I mean, surely enough, once he was there, he definitely did sell out that show. I mean, it didn't feel like we were waiting. It did feel like we were at a party because they had not one, but 2 DJs. They played all of the hits. They're really hyping us up. And it was just kind of like a waiting game for Burna Boy. But, once he came out, you kind of forgot that you were waiting this whole time. And he really performed. He's a performer. He's really fun. And he dances. And he just, he was great to watch. He's definitely an entertainer. Where we were sitting, we could really see everything. We were in balcony 330. I mean, if you were there, you were there. If you weren't, this is my poor summary of my experience. But yeah, it was a great seat to see everything. Like, you could see would you call it a Megatron, the big screen? And then you could also see him and all of his dancers those girls danced the whole time and, well choreographed, in sync, energy. Yes, they did it all. The live band, I'm a sucker for live music, and they were amazing. He had a saxophone player come out. He was killing it too. I was in awe of the whole thing. I was just admiring every single person on that stage, even the guy who gave him his towels and water bottle. Like, they all worked together to put on an amazing and, like I said, unforgettable show for the audience and everybody there. And I was just like, wow, like, I don't know, I kind of left really speechless and, again, thankful to Brian and Paula. Shout out to them for that. But yeah, oh my gosh, I just love the energy. I feel like that was really, very much needed and necessary to just be among that energy and loving Afrobeats and Africans and all of that, for bringing it out here and making it popular in the US for all to enjoy. A country that is so diverse. You have everybody listening to Afrobeats. Everybody was at that concert. All kinds of people were there. And it was amazing. I'm so grateful that I went to that show. And I also noticed that he didn't take any breaks either. He's so full of energy. He just kept going. When I thought there would be like an intermission, there wasn't. It was just a full-on show. And it was just so great. It was so fun. I'd missed that night. That was like a really fun night. And we didn't get out. Like, he performed for 2 hours straight. I'm pretty sure we ended around midnight, if not after midnight or something like that. But man, he can really perform. Even where I don't know what he's saying more than half of the time, I was jamming out. He did his thing for sure. And I'm glad I went. I can't express that enough. I'm just glad I went. I took videos and pictures and danced to those little songs that I did know, embraced the ones that I didn't know, and looking at the crowd and the audience and seeing how he brought people, I'm gonna sound very cliche now, of all shades of colors and all walks of life together, and they all knew the words and they were really into it, like these huge fans of his. Even people that I knew, I didn't know they were fans of his, but ended up finding later through social media that they were also at the show. It's just so crazy to me. He really brought together a lot of people, and midway through the show, I'm gonna say her name wrong, sorry, Boston City Councilor Ruth Z. Louis-June? She came out with, I want to say a plaque, maybe the wrong word. She came out with something official for him to know that, today is your day, Burna Boy Day. So she officially announced this day, him being in Boston, as Burna Boy Day, and she thanked him for his advocacy work in putting Nigeria and Africa on the map, which I thought that was a funny comment, but there must be truth to it for sure. And she also acknowledged that Massachusetts has one of the largest Nigerian communities in the country, which I would, with my little experience traveling the 50 states, in my experience, I would agree with that statement, just emphasizing one of the largest Nigerian communities in the country. I feel like the bulk of Africans that I know or knew growing up will be Nigerian. There is a strong, very strong Nigerian community in Boston and throughout Massachusetts, and also, of course, the DMV area, all the major cities. I also read that Texas has a huge Nigerian community as well. But yeah, I think the chances of you meeting a Nigerian person in Boston or in America in general is very high. If you are to meet any type of African person, you can bet that there's a high chance they will be Nigerian. And that's amazing, and I think the city councilor was thanking him for that kind of advocacy work, and also encouraging and allowing other artists to somewhat follow in his footsteps with their music. So yeah, and during the concert, Burna Boy did have some words of wisdom that I will leave here as we close this episode. Thank you for listening. Catch you in the next one.
But if you're a nigga like me, that's just excitement. So today's message is, whatever stumbling block you may think is in front of you, I need you to turn around and look at that shit again and realize that that shit is nothing but some excitement in your life. And as you cross that shit, and you get to the next level, you look back at that stumbling block and laugh. Whatever it is, it could be the stumbling block could be your boy, it could be your girl, it could be your boss, it could be just forces against everything you stand for. But if you're a nigga like me, you cross that shit and you look back at that bitch and you do what? Damn.